in Moodle quiz, you have to also to set the answers so that the Moodle can be able to mark automatically or robotically. In Moodle quiz, the questions are created and stored separately in a question bank and can be reused in different quizzes. The following guidelines shall be followed when setting a Moodle quiz. We are proposing that the department can set at least 3 Moodle quizzes to accommodate all the students, and to allow students to choose the quiz of their most convenient time. Because this is not examination. This is not a final examination. This is just a coursework. So we should maintain flexibility as much as we can throughout academic year. So you can create number of quizzes, and these quizzes are of 2 categories. You can set a full real time or half real time. A full real time or half real time, partial real time. What is the difference between the full real time? Full real time is like a MTT, is like an examination that allows student can take the quiz timely as per the set time from the start and the end time. But the partial or half real time, this is the quiz that can be allowed to last for some days. And this is also acceptable in distance and open and distance learning systems. So the department should specify the date and the time and communicate the same to students, and the students should be well informed in advance for quiz preparation. The total marks for the quiz is 30 for stand-alone or 15 for joint, because the other 15 marks will come from the assignment. The maximum quiz duration can be, of course, we initially proposed is 60 minutes. Then of course, when we shared this document with some stakeholders, there was a proposal to allow it to last for at least 90 minutes. But it is a coursework. It's a matter of discussion and arrangement by the department itself. So based on the nature and the type of the subject, the quiz question types can be multiple choice question, MCQ, can be true-false questions, TFQ, can be short answer questions, SAQ, or long answer questions, LAQ. While the MCQ, TFQ, and SAQ are marked timely by Moodle, the long answer questions are marked manually by the course tutor. So when you prepare the quiz, you should be aware of the marking arrangement, whether the computer will mark or the tutor will mark. The standard question weight. The standard question weight for each question type is as follows. Any multiple choice question should be given 1 point. Any true-false question should be given 0.5 point. Short answer question will be given 2 points, and the long answer question will be given 10 points. So if you want to give you a quiz by using only multiple choice question, that means you have to construct 30 multiple choice questions if you are using the stand-alone, or 15 multiple choice if you are using the joint, because each multiple choice has 1 point. If you are going to use only true-false question and you want to use the stand-alone quiz, that means you will have to construct 60 true-false questions. We are proposing to have a quiz design or blueprint where the department and the tutors are free to choose any of these formats. So we have 6 formats. The first format, you can have 7 questions, and 5 will be short answer, and 2 the long answer. So you will have 5 by 2.10 plus 2 by 10, 20. So you have to a total of 30 marks. If this is the standalone for the standalone quiz. Also, you can have this format number 2, 33 questions, where you have a combination of multiple choice, true, false, and a short answer. So you can go to this option. Format number 3, only 3 questions, long answer questions, each 10 marks. So you have to consider the timing also in Moodle, typing speed of the students, connectivity issues, and so on. 30 questions, format number 4, where you can have only multiple choice questions. Format number 5, 40 questions, you combine 20 multiple, 20 true false. 50 questions, 10 multiple choice, 40 true false. So these are the proposed 60 formats, but you as a department or staff in the departments, you can sit down and come up with your own specific, a very good, efficient way of assessing coursework. What is required is just to share your blueprint to this. If you come with a different arrangement, just share with us so that we can communicate the same with the quality assurance and the committees of undergraduate and the postgraduate committees. The last part is a bit a technical part. The system setting for the quiz. This is the part that we also proposing this arrangement, but I think once you agree, once each department agree on their blueprint, then we can also agree on you can have a different system setting for different departments, depending on the nature of the blueprint that you choose. But all in all, if you want to set a quiz, you have to provide the quiz name, and you would like to see the course code, the date of the quiz, so that we can be able to separate between the quiz 1, quiz 2 of the same course. So use the course code, use the date. Description, check or tick the box to allow visibility on the upper space of the course webpage as a way of marketing your quiz. So you have to tick. Timing, specify the date and time of quiz open and quiz close. For example, you can say my quiz will start on 11th September from 15:30 to 11th September, 16:30. This means this tutor has set the quiz full real time after one submit their work. But you can arrange for the half real time. Half real time, you can have from 2nd, for example, of November to 25th of November, from this time to this time. So this quiz will last for at least 23 days. And the student will choose the time of their convenience to sit for this quiz, and we call it a half. It is a real time, because once the students log in and start to attempt the quiz, there is a timer, a countdown timer feature in Moodle, which will count down depending on the time specified in your quiz. So it is a real time in that sense, but is half real time in the sense that it will last for some days. You have to specify the time limit. It can be 60 minutes or 90 minutes or 120 minutes. The time zone, let us use the East Africa time zone. Submission grace period is not allowed. Number of attempts should be 1. And the layout, each question should be displayed in the following format. In the new page, select every 5 questions. This will allow 5 questions to display at a time. Why we are opting these 5 questions, you know, Moodle can allow you to display 1 question at a time, or 2 questions at a time, or 3 questions at a time, or 5 questions at a time. There is this arrangement in Moodle, but this had the impact for the Moodle server and the network usage. Because, for example, assume that you are using this. Assume that you are using this format. Format 4. Assume you are using format 4. You have 30 questions. Or format 5, 40 questions. Or format 6, 50 questions. And you want each question to display in a specific web page. What does it mean in terms of the computing speed and the network bandwidth is concerned? You know, if you have 50 questions, and let's say you have 100 or 300 participants, students. So 300 students, they respond to 50 questions, and each question display on its own web page. That means each student will click on the Moodle concurrently by 3,000 number of students times 50 questions. How much? 15 clicks a student. So 15, I mean, it's 15 clicks per course. So assume that there are other courses also assessed online by that time. So how many clicks are you going to? It is not possible. It is not possible. So to minimize our server to be to put it too much busy and to just to provide some kind of a relief for our server system, let us start with the 5 questions per page. 5 questions per page. You can set extra restrictions on the attempts. You can decide to put the password like we do in our examinations, traditional examinations. We send examinations to the chief invigilators in the regional centers. Then 20 minutes or 30 minutes before the start of the exam, we send the password through their mobile phone. So you can opt the same if you want to put more security. But remember that if you set this password requirement, you will have to share the password to candidates at least 5 minutes before the quiz. So this is the feature of security, but it needs some kind of close administration of your quiz. So members, I think this is the briefing of our plan to just to standardize. As I've said, this is not a new thing. We have been doing the whole last year, but just to standardize this activity, to have the guidelines so that all of us are aware of what is happening in the departments and the courses. I think we need some kind of a guide to help us manage this activity. So by saying that, members, I humbly submit for you to just maybe there is a question I can respond. Let us make it a two-way interactive session so that we are all on the same page by end of this presentation. Thank you. Hakuna mwenyekiti, kwa hiyo na kuwa mwenyekiti mwenyewe sasa in case kama kuna
mwenyekiti ni wewe mwenyewe.
Yes, members. I hope I try to elaborate the, kama haijaeleweka sehemu mnaweza kumsaidia kwa maswali kwa clarify.
Mimi niombe kabla mwenyekiti, kabla hatujauliza maswali, kwanza tunakupongeza, lakini ungeishia kwanza hiyo document kama inawezekana, kwa maana ya tuweze kuidownload ili hata kama tunauliza kitu ambacho tumefanya fora.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Saidi.
Yeah, I share now. Yes. Go on. Yes.
I don't know where to start from. But may I first of all actually congratulate you for a kind of nice presentation. But since it's a presentation which was done actually in a marathon way, somehow it will be not very easy for us to contribute very profoundly or deeply the issues. But when I joined, actually you were on the issue of AMCA challenges, the Moodle courses assessment challenges which we faced. You outlined some challenges, and one of them was the kind of resistance. When you elaborated on the resistance, you compared that maybe instructors were reluctant because of the financial gain. We even showed that when you go for physical invigilation, it is different from the amount you get when you do it online. But that is mainly, I think it's mainly based on assumption and hearsay. There is no proof on that. I, for instance, I don't go for invigilation. So why should I resist? So sometimes it is very dangerous to cover issues. We call it a blanket coverage. This is not very fair. But when you mentioned another factor about lack of university standard, that was very right. There was no standard. And I think still there is no any standard. So the assessment, to be fair, there must be some standard. And why is it important to have some standard? Because let's say you have different students, one graduating through Moodle, the other one graduating through OREX, and another one graduating through or on-demand examination or ODEX. If you check the caliber of these three groups, they won't be the same. when I was doing the practical sessions this year, I met with my students and I asked them, if you do the assignment on Moodle, and another colleague did the timed test through Zoom or X, and another one did it through ODEX, going to the hall with the examination, the whole ticket, and so on and so forth. If we measure the three of you, are you think you will be the same? The answer, they agreed that we won't be the same. So there is issue of quality, which you have not actually established very clearly, because we have different students going through, but the checkpoints are also different. So the end product will not be harmonious. That is my word. So there is a need to have the standards, which you grouped as a pedagogical challenges. Even the setup of examination or the questions is not the same across the university. So there must be some kind of training on how a test or an assignment should be set, given the different types. You say there's asynchronous, others asynchronous. So, you know, these things need to be well inculcated to the staff so that we ensure the quality of our students. Otherwise, we will be jumping up and down, people getting out, but in the end, what we are achieving is gross violation of or decrease of quality assurance, I think. Maybe I should stop there. I may come up later. Thank you. Mr. Saidi? Dr. Saidi?
Yes, Prof.
I am done.
Yeah, thank
Dr.
you.
Saidi?
Thank you. Thank you, Prof, for the comments. Although I was a bit off for 2 or 3 times, but I got your first point on the standards and the issue of the resistance to change among the staff. These are the critical issues, because any new changes, of course, we need to be on the same page and to agree and to move together. So thank you, Prof, for your comment here.
Hello, Dr. Saidi.
Yes, Mbunga, go on.
Dr. Saidi, Dr. Saidi.
Yes, go on. Go on, Mr. Mrema.
Thank you, Dr. Saidi, for good presentation. But we are really actually emphasizing about the Moodle assignment. But it's unfortunate that my question goes to you directly. How comes that while you were emphasizing about the Moodle assignments, that it comes that, oh, it happens that a student, or during the examination period, you find a student appears in the examination room demanding or requesting for traditional MTT. How are you, as far as standard is concerned and the guidelines, how can you comment on that, Dr. Saidi?
I don't get you, Dr. Mrema. Comparing what?
There is this issue of, we are talking of Moodle assignment, fine. And we have heard of these guidelines and so forth. My question is that, how are we going to treat this question of students appearing in the examination room demanding for traditional MTT?
So far, we will try our best to maintain this flexibility. That is a strategic question, Dr. Mrema.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Said.
Daktari,
But for
Dr.
this coming
Saidi,
academic year, it's running. The coursework by Moodle, talking about the long-term vision of the university. The long-term vision of the university, I think we still need discussion, but I would think if we are
Dr. Saidi,
putting off everything, but for this specific by online and the coursework by entity.
Dr. Saidi,
Yes, doctor.
good morning. Dr. Saidi,
Yes, morning.
how are you?
Fine, Dr. Samsudi.
Yeah, I'd like to commend you for the presentation. It is very informative, though we need to digest it thoroughly. I have, I can't call them questions, rather suggestions. The first one, I'd wish to echo what has been said by Professor Varisanga on the issue of resistance to change. Daktari, this is a learning process. We have two types of learners. There are fast learners and the laggards. And in our field of library information science, we have what we call digital natives and digital immigrants. For the digital immigrants, it takes time to cope with the technology. So, Mr. Presenter, Dr. Ali, we need to bear with those who we can regard them as digital immigrants, and we should not condemn them that they don't want to change. The will to change is there, but it takes time. It is a learning process. That's one. The second one, Mr. Daktari, is on the issue of submission of assignment, and the paper has emphasized that all assignment should be submitted through Moodle system. And the philosophy of ODL, which of course we are practicing, is that no student or students should be left out, either because of distance or another. It needs to be assisted. They need to be assisted. Now, my question, how are we going to assist students who can't access the Moodle system? Maybe because of the geographical location, maybe because of technological know-how. How are we going to assist them? Are they going to be our students, or we don't need them? Thank you, Mr. Presenter and the chair. I think you are also the chair. Thank you very much. I submit.
Dr. Samsudi.
Yes.
Naomba unisaidie uwe chair kwanza ili mambo yaende vizuri.
Nashukuru, lakini naomba nimwachie Profesa Varisanga, atakuwa chair. Mkubwa wangu atakuwa chair.
Professor Varisanga.
I don't know how to chair the meetings on Zoom. If it would be a physical meeting, then I will have accepted. But the Zoom one, I'm still very unconfident. But I can assist if requested.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Thank you.
So let Samsung still chair the meeting, and if need be, I can take it as a second chair.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Samsudi.
Yes.
As I have said in the first part of my proposal, that the future of education depends on the digital access. So this is the area that we can do some kind of the research, that how many of our students don't have access online. But I think based on the experience we had last year with the Moodle coursework, the experience with the OREX, I think we have a very, very good number of students who can be able to access online. And for those who don't have the access, we still have this traditional system for this academic year. So in my opinion, I think there is no single student is going to be left out. So they are all our students, and we have different systems in place to accommodate all these students of different geographical background. Thank you.
Members, more questions, suggestions?
Hello, Chair.
You are welcome, Dr. Njoroge.
Oh, thank you, Chair, Dr. Samzuk, and appreciate Dr. Said for the presentation, and for him requesting that the chairship shifts to another member for him to respond to this important presentation. I was looking on the document already printed it out. A proposal to enhance online coursework assessment in a Moodle platform for 2021 academic year. And I was asking myself, while digesting on the views of the previous speakers, including Professor Kanga, Dr. Mlema, and Dr. Samzugi, I was trying to be curious. This is a proposal. This is a proposal to enhance online coursework assessment. Is it that the DESOPs and the DVC academic office and the DESOPs expects some inputs from the members, and this proposal will be improved upon? Or is this a final working document, as Said was putting clear that it's not a new issue? This is number one, because our contribution largely depends on whether the will go at improving. But if not, I would say it will be not fruitful. And number two, which is more or less the same contribution, the first contribution is, if at all the proposal thought to obtain some input from academicians who constitute a big chunk of the university community, I would prefer that this documentation could have been shared earlier on, and the people could have read it for thorough digesting and for proper and relevant inputs. As you could remember, Professor Baisanga said correctly that it's a marathon way of presenting. But again, Dr. Samzuki said correctly that we should appreciate and recognize the fast learners and the laggards. This was a debate whether people would be able to give a relevant contribution to this proposal. If at all, it was meant to obtain inputs. Until later on, I would be ready to contribute more. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Can we take two more questions so that we can give the presenter time to respond?
Yes,
Two more questions, please. Suggestions? Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Said, for presentation. Mine is a bit small. It's on the issue of submission on the assignment. The document says the submission should be in a format of PDF. Now I was asking myself, why PDF? Is it because we want to save, a space or save a space or what? To me, on my experience, based on the other assignments that I've marked, it brought a lot of disturbances for students who submitted his work on this PDF format. I suppose the Word format is good for marking and for feedback for students. We consider it as a main time test. In the main time test, we used to take it back to students with the comments. Now, if it is in a format of PDF, how will it be? Is it helpful to students or is just for submission to teachers for marking? So I wish to have more clarification on the issue of submission. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Neema, for your contribution. One more question, please, before we allow the presenter to respond.
Dr. Samzugi?
Yes.
Can I also say something?
You're welcome, Dr. Hela.
Thank you very much. I think this will be rather to the IMT than DES. I think there is a need to clean our system by removing some old unnecessary participants. That makes our course management somehow difficult. I was looking at my course and I found there were some users with 2015 registration numbers, and some of them had already graduated a few years ago. And I think this makes our course management and our course assessment difficult. And also, you remember recently the Senate deregistered some students who have overstayed and those who have were inactive. So I think the same should be removed from our Moodle system. And also, likewise, DES has commented that we should not delete the former assignments or assessments, but I think there is a need to have a limit of time after which we remove those courses or assessments. For example, last year we had several rounds of assignments. In our departments, we had 3 rounds with several assignments, and they're still there in our courses. So I think we have to put a limit, and after that, we remove those assignments. They cannot stay there and still we put some new ones. It will be difficult to manage the assessment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hela. And now,
Dr. Samzugi,
yes,
it's the current chair, please. How do you see it? If a person speaks but we can't see him or her, is it that we are afraid, we are hiding ourselves and speak or what? Guys, let us be free. When you speak, please let me see your face.
Put in the chair, please.
It is one of the way of knowing each other, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for the
I agree with you, Chair. It is good to see each other.
Yeah.
Okay, now let us allow Dr. Saidi Des to respond to the 3 questions raised by Dr. Njoroge on the issue on whether it is the final document, and from Neema Chilumika on the issue of submission on PDF format. And lastly, from Dr. Hela, she raised a number of issues of cleaning the system, which this one was supposed to be directed to IMT, although I know you can handle it, Dr. Saidi, on the issue of the legislation of students. So, Dr. Saidi, please, I pass on the mic to you so that you can respond to the raised questions or observations.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you,
Dr.
Chair. Thank you, Chair. Before that, Dr. Mfuka. Dr. Mfuka,
Yes.
I can see like we are live on YouTube. Can you talk about it?
Sorry?
I see like we are live on YouTube.
Yeah, because some people, they said they cannot they cannot manage to come in and so on. So I created the live stream.
Okay.
But I'm trying to monitor, you know, some people who can come in. So I have dropped someone who was outside.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Chair. The first question from my colleague Mbunga from Twara. Mr. Njoroge, Dr. Njoroge.
Yes, Dr.
This proposal actually, what I'm trying to do today is just, I'm doing extra, no. This is just the additional kind of supporting academic staff. But this proposal was discussed in various meetings. I personally had a meeting with the committee of heads of departments in the OUT Council chamber, and I presented this document, and we agreed that the document, of course, I shared the document with the heads of departments, and we agreed that the HODs will present this document to their colleagues in the department. Also, we had a UGSC meeting, and in that meeting also it was directed that all deans and the directors, I mean DICE, will be responsible to supervise these training or workshops in their own faculties. But, you know, I received a request from FBM to make a presentation for FBM. So then I decided that why should we have the one for the whole university. So about sharing of the document it is there to the faculty for past 2 months. Regarding being the whether final or still a proposal, this is still a proposal. The decision to go online by coursework is there because it was approved by the Senate, but how are we going online? The technical how, this is still a proposal. As I speak now, I don't have any feedback from any department so far. Kwa hiyo sijui na gani wataasesi vipi mwaka huu. I don't know, wamesha digest hii proposal au bado, I don't know. So it is not final. There is a room for improvement, but that improvement should say hapa tumemaliza, akili imekwisha, hii kilichopo hapa wanaweza wakaongeza nini wakapunguza nini, alafu waseme sisi tutaassesi hivi, waturudishie desi ili kikao kijacho tunapeleka kwenye kikao.
Dr. Said, you have disappeared, yeah?
Maybe, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
While we are waiting for Dr. Saidi to come back,
okay,
I think here we have our heads of department. And they shared this document with the directorate or the syndicate. But when we come here to the meeting, it is as if we have not seen the document. And the majority of us have not really seen the document. So you see how the problem may be arising. Eh? That
Yeah.
the desk knows that our staff have the document and they have shared, while at the department level, faculty level, majority of the staff have not seen this document. You see where the problem may be arising.
Yeah.
So it will be very easy sometimes when the directorate sees the staff as if they are really posing a resistance, while the staff are not actually resisting, but because they are not aware or they are not very versed with the contents of the document. You see how sometimes the problem can arise. Eh?
Thank you very much, Professor, for your valid observation. And since the heads of departments are here, please, Dr. Kitigwa. Dr. Kitigwa,
Yes,
do you hear me?
yes.
Have you shared the document to your colleagues in the department?
Yes, I did. This circulated the document to heads of department, and I shared with my colleagues. I don't know what happened to other departments.
Can we hear from the heads of other departments, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
I shared the document with my members in the Department of Journalism and Media Studies. We discussed it, and I already sent an internal memo to DES. I copied Dean on the format that members decided to follow on assessing the students through Moodle. So members of departments in journalism department are aware of the document, and we already discussed it. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Other departments, please.
Good morning, Chair.
Morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes.
Personally, I was not present in the meeting, but the documents were shared to all CESED staff by the fellow head of Department of Economics. But we are yet to conduct the meeting and discuss on it.
So based on the report which we are receiving from the heads of department, it seems that the document has been circulated to members of the departments, and they are aware of the document. So,
Then
Prof,
why were they trying to get the document from Dr. Said?
Yeah,
I think,
that is the question.
hello, Chair.
Yes.
You see, sometimes, Mr. Njoroge, Dr. Njoroge.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Njoroge, let us allow Professor Varisanga to.
Let me cut you down a little. You know, sometimes we at the HQ, we think that the university is here. Maybe the document has been shared, but you, Njoroge, you are not here at the HQ. So maybe you couldn't get the document. I'm at the HQ, but I have not received the document. You know, this is a very a document which has been constructed, taking time of people. And if we fail to implement, that's why they will assume that we are resisting. Dr. Said assumed, he made the assumption that people are resisting. But I told him, sometimes you may think so, but people, because they are not well versed with the content. For instance, let us be very frank. Whoever shared this document with his or her department, can he or her tell us now they are able to set up a Moodle coursework assessment which will be marked by a computer? If there is any head of department who can come here and tell us, yes, my department, we are now conversant and we can set the exam. He should be actually teaching other departments. So it is true to have the document, and number two, to be conversant with what the document actually dictates us to do. I think majority here, I can read the faces. people are not conversant with what is needed. And
Yeah.
if we go like this, we'll be seen as if we are resisting. But me, I would love if I can check something and the computer will mark it. What is the harm? I will be resting, doing some other things. So who is actually resisting to have the assignment marked by the computer? You see,
Thank you.
my name of observation members, let us talk frankly so that at the end, we own this document and we know where are we heading to. Otherwise, tutakuwa kama ng'ombe tunapunguzwa kwenda machinjioni. Okay.
Rofu, thank you very much for the contribution. And as a way forward, we kindly request the heads of the department to resend the document to their members of department so that they can be conversant with the changes which are embedded in the document. Okay, that is
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, please.
Yes, Abdallah.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, the presenter, for coming up with the idea. But actually, I have few issues that I'd love to get clarification. And actually, the issue of integrity.
Dr. Abdallah.
Yes.
Dr. Can you reserve your questions or suggestions? Because Dr. Said is supposed to respond to the questions which were directed to him. Then we shall take another round of questions and suggestions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
You can reserve it. Dr. Saidi, please.
Okay, thank you, Chair. The question from Neema Chilumika about submission by PDF instead of by Microsoft Word.
You're correct. Okay, you continue.
Yeah, thank you, Neema, for good observation of the PDF and the Word. Normally, we IT guys, we think of the PDF as a portable document with the minimal file size, security, and so on. But for the sake of giving feedback to students, I agree that Word is, with the track changes facility, is good. So, of course, we are marking the MTTs and we don't see much of the comments from markers in the MTT scripts. But in Moodle, there is a platform where you can provide comments by to all students, not for individual student. So there is such facility. As a tutor or instructor, you can use the discussion forum to provide feedback to the whole class instead of providing feedback to the individual student. But still, it is the thing that we can, based on the, of course, on the competence of our students in IT, maybe most of them are not aware of converting Word to PDF. Thank you. It is a good observation. Let us digest it, and we will finally agree on whether to leave a room for both PDF and Word, or to stick with Word or PDF. Thank you. Regarding the question raised by DICE, Dr. Hela, data cleaning is very important. Data cleaning is very important, and not data cleaning for assignment, but also for the old courses, for the staff maybe. But this is the thing that needs to be taken with precaution. So we will sit down with the director IMT, Dr. Catherine, and see how we can handle this by taking backups. So we can have a backup by academic year. Backup by academic year. Then we clean the data and we start afresh for each new academic year. But deleting files that have grades is something that we need to take it with precaution. But I accept, of course, to delete as far as we can keep the backups in CDs or DVDs. Yeah, I think, Mr. Chair, I'm done.
Yeah, thank you very much for the response. And now we are taking the third round of questions. And we will start with Dr. Abdallah, and will be followed by Dr. Miraji Kitigwa. Dr. Abdallah, please.
Okay, thank you. Actually, as I've said earlier, my concern was regarding the issue of integrity. As we are all aware that the online assessments have a lot of issues to be considered when we are looking on the issue of integrity. And as I can remember, previously we had the so-called assessments in the traditional mode, and we decided to abolish on the issue of integrity. As we are now coming to the online assessments, and one aspect of assessment is on the assignments. I would love to hear from Des. Which mechanisms are in place in controlling integrity issues on the side of students? That's very important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Kitigwa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to air my view, believing that this platform enables me to freely air my view, if at all. And of course, I'm very thankful to Professor Varisanga and you, Mr. Chair, for raising an issue that has been misleading regarding the 1,000 marking allowance, which is directly related to resistance to change. I would say no. And of course, I'm proud that I'm conservative. And I believe in conservatism because radical changes are always hazardous. And they resemble what we can call revolution. And I'm arguing this in a political science perspective, in line with an Irish philosopher, Edmund Burke, who wrote in on the reflection on the revolution in France, and asserted that the revolution was destroying the fabric of good society and traditional institutions of the state. Much the same is true of this introduced ICT mechanism. It is destroying the fabric of good society and traditional institutions of the OUT. And I'll say this because I do not know the objective of this radical change. Is it meant at improving academic excellence or quality among academic staff and students? Or is it meant at bargaining or increasing the OUT revenue? Or is it meant at simply demonstrating ICT proficiency and competence among ICT staff at OUT? Or I would also comment, in addition to what Professor Varisanga has said regarding the ODEX conundrum. You know, ODEX has downgraded the value, significance, and essence of examinations. You remember, since May up to November, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, we have been running examinations. So it has turned the OUT from the center of academic excellence that used to offer quality and affordable education into a university of examinations and maybe graduation ceremonies. And worse enough, some academic staff members who are proficient with a specific course are located in regional centers, up country there, far away from the headquarters. Therefore, you find that once ODEX exam emerge, any academic staff available at OUT headquarters is picked and coerced to swiftly mark the script irrespective of his area of specialization, with a notion that a marking guide will lead them to doing the task. Of course, this is unhealthy for serious committed educationists. You know, being a member of staff in a particular department does not mean that one is Christo-conversant with all courses in that department. And I would advise that nobody should be jack of all trades at the OUT. And I would therefore advise that the ordinary and regularized, periodic and predictable and robustly invigilated examination system and standardized, episodic, and predictable and vigorous marking sessions, and preferably they should be in July, August each year, be reinstated with immediate effect for the better interest of both the institution and its clients. You know, the systematic and periodic examination sessions are normally used to be around January, February, May, June, and the September ODEX. We should not destroy the traditional institutions in a radical way, which were instated by its founders. I'm a political scientist, and you would see how the country has been insisting on preserving the traditional institutions which were established by the founding fathers. And of course, it needs researching, not witch hunting. Let's let the OUT management try to compare, for example, the university revenue during the pen and paper examination traditional eras, say from 2013 to 2018, and the petty caches, the peanut vendor revenues, which have been available during these unpredictable examination episodes. You see, you find that even the students do not have enough time to read. They are just caught flat-footed. They fail, and they only few show up for examination, and the university has been complaining that it does not have cash, simply because the students are not prepared all the time to pay for the exams. Some of them just rush, and so the university gets just peanuts, the peanut vendor cash. So I would like to thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me this opportunity. Let's honor the traditional institutions that were established by, because even the developed countries have not rushed that way. And if we think that the academic staff will be traveling from regional centers to the OUT and they will earn a lot of money, what's the problem? Kwani kinakuuma nini bwana? Kwani tunafanya kazi kwa Wahindi hapa ambapo wanataka tuwe na viraka tu. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kitigwa.
Hello, Mr. Chair. Can I also add something, Professor Karwani?
Before I allow you, Professor Karwani, let the respondent actually address the issues raised before, because there will be too much for him to remember. Thereafter, I shall invite you. Is it okay?
All right.
Okay. Mr. Saidial, Dr. Saidial, please.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Let me start with the question from President Abdallah. The integrity issue from the student side, as far as online assignment is concerned, what are the mechanisms in place? Mr. Chair, assignment is not a new thing. Assignment is the homework. In conventional universities, UDSM, ukienda pale kuna homework zile assignment DS watu wanapewa. But the good thing that is required for the tutors is to make sure that these assignments are well prepared. The questions are constructed with the top level Bloom taxonomy, that they really demand students to take various literatures and to respond to the questions in such a way that the questions are intensive questions. But another mechanism that is in place is to activate the plagiarism check in Moodle. Software, it is there, so it is for us to use it. And the first one is this one, to create good questions. But all in all, the homework assignment, it is the traditional way of assessing coursework. It is not a new thing. It is you as the instructor who will make your assignment good or bad, Mr. President.
Yes. Dr. Said, question. Dr. Said, before you move to the second.
Yes.
I think maybe you are forgetting that we were having assignments before. And the setup was actually, is what you said, the top level Bloom's taxonomy. But there were some agents who were there attempting or answering those assignments for our students. They were paying the agents, so the students were not doing the assignment. Rather, the agents were doing the assignments for our students. And the whole exercise was therefore considered to be unproductive because we were not really assessing our students. Rather, we were assessing the agents who were doing the assignments for our students. Now, by reintroducing the issue of assignment, I really still doubt whether we will be able to manage the issue raised of integrity and equality. I think you were there when we presented this to the Council of the University of Apple University. The chairman was not very happy, and he questioned about the what quality assurance. And integrity is one aspect which will actually ensure that the quality is maintained. You know, when we were discussing with some of my students, they said in the OREX you can control because you say move your camera, your device around the room to see the room. But suppose somebody is standing behind the phone like this. When I'm moving, he's moving with me. You can't control that there was nobody in that room because you move the laptop while the assistant is at the back, while the camera is facing you from the front. So the issue of quality assurance, really, we need to get sure that we ascertain it together with the Bloom taxonomy, together with the plagiarism check. I think the issue of quality assurance is not really, we are not up to 80%. My personal opinion also. Unfortunately, I'm the chair, but I also have the freedom of opinion. So this issue remains unanswered to the best of my understanding, unless other members say they are satisfied with what you say.
Actually, that was also my concern because I have that experience that we used to have assignments before and we abolished that exercise because of integrity issues. So we are just coming up with the same activity, maybe on different platform. Now the issue of controlling the integrity. That's the center of my question.
Dr. Said.
My coach, Professor Valasanga.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for filling the vacuum. I don't know whether Dr. Saidi is aware on the report of Hans Rekels, which, of course, recommended that we should scrap out the assignment, though it was resisted. So I don't know whether the environment which was discussed by Rekels are still persisting in the current environment of online assignment. So maybe if there is a possibility, DES could retrieve the report. I think it is maybe in the office of the VC Academic or Vice VC, can retrieve the report, Rance Haken report, so that we can read it, we can go through it to see if what we are introducing now is going to take into consideration the issue of integrity. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
I think Dr. Saidi, if you are not able to address the issue, maybe we just note that this may need further deliberation.
Yeah, but Prof, generally, as I have said, that this rests on hands of departments. So the coursework is on the department level. The department, they have both two options. Of course, there is the computer marked system, and I remember most of the members in the UGSC meeting, they proposed the computer marked assignment. So I think it's not a high time to abolish totally online assignment. But at the moment, you can go, or you can opt for the computer marked assignment, the real time. Yeah, at the end of the year, we shall be sitting down like this way and improve the proposal. So, members, Chair, the question from Dr. Miraji, I think he raised very, very good observation, but I think in ODL system, most of the issues raised are not relevant in the ODL system, but they are very, very relevant to the conventional university. When you say ICT destroy traditions of OUT, the same time OUT is open and distance learning, how can you do distance in this era without ICT? So all our documents, our vision, our strategic plans, they are talking of ICT as a means of achieving this, distance target. We had a COVID-19 few months ago in Tanzania, and we still have a COVID-19. Without ICT, how can you manage education without ICT? So whether there is a COVID or no COVID, the education now depends on the, maybe let us talk on the speed, but not on the technology itself. We need ICT as much as we need water in our daily life. Without ICT, there is no OUT, my friends. So let us improve on these systems, but we need ICT. Regarding the ODEX degrading the quality of examination, this is not true. This is open university, my friends. This is open university. We should maintain flexibility. We have students who are RRCs, DCs, ministers. So ODEX is our TUNU in the Open University. ODEX is our TUNU. Maybe someone is not aware of the performance of ODEX. So because the idea of ODEX is all about maintaining the flexibility in the delivering education. Kwa hiyo mawazo ya Dr. Miraji ni mazuri sana, lakini kama angekuwa anayatolea pale Nkuruma Judaism angepigiwa makofi. But talking the same at ODL institution, myself, I don't buy this idea. So let us ICT investments, but let us improve the same so that we accommodate our students and our systems. Professor Barisanga,
yes.
Chair.
Yes.
Kama tungekuwa tuna COVID-19 sasa hivi, sidhani kama hii comment ingekuwa ni valid. Kwa hiyo members tuwe fair kama mimi naambia niwe fair kwa sababu nimeandika resistance to change kwa sababu ya 1000 pale, lakini mimi naulizwa as a director of examinations, ninaulizwa hapa, mzee, mbona huku tunapata 1000, mbona huku hatupati? Kwa hiyo watu wanafanya kwa tabu, matokeo kuna hivi ninavyoongea kuna matokeo ya MUDO sijapata, na wanafunzi wengine watashindwa kugraduate. Sasa how can you define that? Is that not a resistance to change? Lakini huyu ukimwambia sasa hivi nakupa 1000 hizi nipe matokeo kesho, atakuletea tu, sorry that. Kwa hiyo kwa hiyo let us be fair pia kwamba kiukweli tunajaribu kwenda hivyo kwa sababu wanafunzi wote wapo. Hakuna wanafunzi, kuna wanafunzi hawawezi kuja kwenye vituo vya mitihani, wapo pia. Sasa
yes,
to improve the software.
Dr. Saidi.
All in all, chair, sorry chair. Nilikuwa naomba pia to stick on the proposal. Sababu kuna issue nyingine kama a strong statement as ICT destroy traditions of OUT, has degraded quality of examinations. It's not a topic of today. Let us stick on the proposal. Let us discuss the proposal and agree which, the idea of the today presentation is to keep awareness of what is coming about the online MUDO coursework. Sasa kama ODEX haifai, that needs another arrangement to sit down, tutapeleka kule, tutadiscuss, tutabolish, no problem. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Saidi. Saidi, thank you very much for your reaction to the issue raised. May I actually appeal to you that don't personalize this issue. Yeah? Take it easy. We are not actually trying to put you on the cross. No. People, we have different ways of seeing the same thing. So please bear with us. Usiumie sana. And I want also to tell my colleagues that there is no one among us, if he is here, it is by accident, who will actually indicate that the ICT is detrimental to the teaching. Because even in conventional, they are introducing heavily ICT in their teaching. So we should actually be ahead of the conventional as far as the ICT use is concerned. So we should actually agree on the first instance that we cannot do without the ICT. Before I invite the appropriate chair, who is Dr. Samzugi, may I now invite Professor Kalwani, who I cut him short before you came. And from there, Dr. Samzugi, please take over.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I also have to put a grain of salt in this discussion, because internal meetings are very constructive, because provided they are self-criticism centered. We are here really, as you said, Mr. Chair, that we are here to construct rather than to destroy. So our contribution should be onward towards contribution. So on my part, I'm trying to contribute on the continuous assessment online. Actually, on my part, this is one of our setback, which I think that we have to do something to remedy this situation. I'm saying so because the continuous assessment that we conduct online, particular assignments, they are also victims of time, quality, and quantity. Time in the sense that the student, they use very little to answer these questions, and when they answer them shallowly, such that even the quality of the answer is very poor. You find that even in some instances, they return the same notes that you send to them, they just copy and paste and bring back. This actually tantamount to critical thinking, how our students can develop their critical thinking. So you find that actually we really need to change the mode, perhaps, of assignment. I would like to suggest that maybe we should give them some more time, either through the internet, whereby they can write fully. Because I want to question ourselves, including myself, that how do you expect a person, undergraduate, who passes an assignment by just copying and then immediately he enters master's or postgraduate, where he demanded to bring a thesis, he demanded to bring a proposal, and such system, he cannot do that. So what I'm thinking that maybe should consider this part of continuous assessment, some more improvements should be made to it, if it can be separated and given some more weight and time so that we get quality answers. That's my part. So that will improve even the stature of our open learning distance, other than continuing to help ourselves that the assignments are enough, they are adequate. I think that part should be, something should be done. That is my contribution.
Dr. Samzugi.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Kalwani, for your contribution. Now I call upon Dr. Saidi to respond. And members, if you allow me, after the response from Dr. Saidi, we can chart the way forward. And then we conclude our meeting. Okay? Is that agreeable?
Yes.
Members? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
But
Agreed.
Maybe Dr. Samzun, the chair.
Yes, agreed.
Yes.
If there are some more contributions or opinions from the staff, let us actually extend the time.
Chair.
So that we exhaust all what is in our mind. You know?
Okay.
As Professor Kalwani put it correctly, internal meetings like this is where people will feel that they are valued, they have contributed, they were heard, their opinions taken, and the sense of ownership of the document. Yeah? But if things come and in a rush, they just go, people remain, no, they just stay.
Hello?
So we shouldn't be in any rush. I think we better exhaust our mind as far as possible for the better of our university.
A piece of an advice, Chair, an advice. Just a piece of an advice. Chair.
Okay, you continue, Njoroge.
Minute, yes. I was looking at the end of the document, and just to concur on what has been suggested from Dr. Said, it says the request, members are requested to receive, discuss, and recommend the Senate one, on the general guideline for the Moodle coursework assessment stipulated in section 4.0, and two, guidance on for the MCA types stipulated in 5.0. I was suggesting, because the idea is to get inputs, at the end of the, no, it will be at the end of the Q&A, but Saidi, if Saidi really wants some input, he could have guided some of the tentative worries in the documents with regard to section 4.0 and 5.0 in such a way that academicians who are experts would give their views and recommendation, what they think they should be the way forward. Otherwise, unless you hear exactly on what academician would do in implementing this proposal, then the meeting would be fruitful. So that would be my appeal. Before the end of the meeting, or in the way forward session, the desk himself, as he was presenting, he had some questions on the worries on what would be the practical implementation of the proposal. He could chip in and ask those questions as that the section have said. And we as academicians should be able to help in giving some constructive inputs.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Njoroge, for your contribution. And now I allow Dr. Saidi to respond to the question which has been raised by Professor Kalwani. And thereafter, we shall take another round of questions or suggestions. And lastly, we shall go to...
Can you remind on the... Can you remind me on the questions by Professor Kalwani?
Professor Varisanga, please. Would you remind the presenter the question from Professor Varisanga?
Yes, if I understood him correctly, he was actually speaking of the short time given to our students in responding, that the assignment and the nature of how it is right now, it does not allow a student to go deep into in search of knowledge. Rather, it's just to attempt the questions and submit. So the issue of time was not enough for students for enough preparation. But the other issue, which was echoed by many, and Professor Kalwani included, was about quality. How do we ensure quality from the responses we receive from students in a distance? If I'm not very correct, since Professor Kalwani is still around, Kalwani, can you summarize your question very quickly?
Actually, you have put it right, but our concern is that if students are given such a short time and they give just respond it by copying paste, how do we develop the Bloom's taxonomy of critical thinking, of coming? So mind you that the society is looking at us. We are not living in a vacuum. When these are not well addressed,
the society is looking at you.
Sometimes feel that we are not giving them a fair deal. They might find around some other universities. And that's to ensure that the quality of our assignment, because time,
yes,
they are just they operate in a kangaroo type, so they just they can get you right, or they can get you not right. So the assignment is the basis of learning. So what am I concerned that how can we improve this assignment so that it's not that much short? And we say that when it's bulk, the bytes cannot carry in the Moodle. So we have to find out a way where we can address these assignments so people can express and quote and write things critically. That's my concern.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Kalwani, an experienced teacher, by profession, a professor. Dr. Saidi, please. If you have any response, if you don't have any response, you can take it in the suggestions.
Yes, I take it But also I think the departments now, it's high time to see these comments that, we as this, we will set the general university deadline for submission of the assignments, whatever, and submission of the results to this. But the department will be allowed to set their department level deadlines and communicate the same to students. Regarding the quality issue, this is the big question that needs a discussion and research, so that at the end we come up with a very, very quality system for assessing coursework system. Mr. Chair, maybe before closing up, let me respond to a question by Dr. Njoroge about the statement in the proposal that the members are required to receive, to discuss, and to recommend. No, that is, Dr. Njoroge, that is just a symbolic statement. This was the proposal that was submitted to UGC, then also was presented in the previous Senate. So this matter is in Senate now. What we are doing is just awareness program, and we can improve at the department level. So we expect to receive the selected blueprints from the department, and the same will be submitted to the next UGC and the Senate for noting. So it is not going for maybe approval or whatever. So don't be afraid with that statement, Mr. Mbunga.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Desi. Now we are moving to the last round of questions before we conclude our meeting. The last round of questions or suggestions. Please, is there any burning issue?
Yeah, Chair.
Okay. Professor again? Okay. You continue, please. Kiando.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, I have been following through the stream. I mean the YouTube, and it has been a little bit difficult to add. But let me start by commending the initiatives. But there are two things that I wanted to kind of share for us to see if they can be part of our thinking. One that we are looking at this as a proposal, but I understand if you have been, for those who have been following the orientation, this has already been shared by students, and that's how we will go. So if we take it as a proposal, it's just for, I mean, like we are sugarcoating it, but it's let's see how we all accommodate it to implement. That's one. But we had, if you look at our discussion in, we have said it time and again that we are using all modes. And it sounds so interesting because everyone says we are using every mode. Tunatumia njia zote, hatujaacha hata moja. But when you read between the lines, utaiona kwamba you only have to submit in Moodle, and there's that and that and that, which is also in a way you are saying that there's nothing beyond Moodle. If we really mean that we are doing something as well for those who cannot access the internet, everything, can we also prepare a guideline for those who are using the traditional? That if you are using the Moodle, this is how that's what you are supposed to do. But for those who are not able to use the Moodle, then this is another structure, which is supposed to be. In that way, we will be then walking the talk. That's one. But again, to me, there's something that I think somewhere someone is saying about professionals and something like that. But I think we have one challenge. We have a challenge on the operational guidelines regarding OUT, but also there is a academic discussion regarding ODL. And we normally kind of put them together, assuming that when you are discussing the operational guidelines of OUT, you are actually discussing about ODL. If we can reach at a point when we can sort them out, that the operational guideline of ODL is this one. I mean, these are the issues in the ODL, but we want to run our institution following this compass. So we are picking some of the issues from the ODL, but some of the issues from what we want to do. And then that discussion, I think, will make us you can have that clarity on the direction that we are taking. Lastly, I wish to point out, and I think I can say this even at a gun point, that the financial support of OUT is actually on the peripheral operation of ODL. Hela ya kuendeshea chuo kikuu huria ipo kwenye traditional ODL. Na nadhani kwa mbali tumekwenda kwenye online, tutakuwa tumeexperience hiyo kwamba changamoto tulionayo sasa ni changamoto ya kwamba hatuna hela ya kutosha kukimbizana, kubeba activities zonazo. Hatuna hela ya namna hiyo kwa sababu tumesema tunajifungia, tumecombine kwamba inaonekana kwamba kwa sisi tunatakiwa tuache watu fulani nje ili mambo yaweze kwenda, lakini in real sense kuna swali ameuliza Bwana Njoroge, nimependa ile thinking kwamba tunapotengeneza guide kama hii, what is actually the objective? Ni tunataka to save cost, tunataka tu accommodate wengi, tunataka tufanye nini hasa? Inawezekana from that tunaweza kutupa strategy, the appropriate strategy itakuwa nini? Kama tunataka tupunguze gharama, tufanye nini? Je, tukienda kwenye Moodle, tukisema tuko online 100%, tunafanya nini? What are we achieving? That's one. Lakini mwisho kabisa niseme kuna ile negative, kuna kitu mimi nimependa sana presentation yako Des. Lakini nimeogopa sana tunaposema kuna watu wanakata, lakini hatuzungumzii kwamba kuna kipindi teknolojia inaferi, kuna kipindi teknolojia inatupa watu nje, kuna kipindi hatuzungumzii, ila tunasema watu ndio tatizo. That way inatufanya kuna mtu akiwa na wazo tofauti anaogopa kutoa mchango kwa sababu anaonekana ni adui wa mabadiliko. Lakini sio. ICT is good for branding. That is, yani kwamba na mkiangalia somewhere wana tunazungumzia ukija kwenye ulimwengu wa ODL watakwambia kwamba branded sio conventional concept, ni ODL concept. Kwa hiyo mkienda SUA ambako wanakwenda kwenye lecture kwa watu wa VET au MUHAS, wanakwenda kwenye lecture, wanakwenda laboratory, wanakwenda online, hawasemi wanafanya branded. Mimi naomba niishie hapo.
Okay, thank you Dr. Kiando. Members, more questions, suggestions, comments? No?
Mr. Chair.
Professor, I want to say something.
Just minor. If I understood very well, we were Njoroge, Dr. Njoroge really asked about the receive, discuss, and recommend. Yeah. And the answer was no, don't worry. Those are the standard for any document. Because the document has already reached the Senate and we are actually trying to do a kind of revision. I think to borrow it from Dr. Njoroge, since the very document which went as far as up to the Senate still has a lot to be desired. So my question is, what was the rush? Because it has gone as far as up to the Senate. But we are discussing it today as if it is a very new document. So this way, some of us will be really be given names. We are resistant, we are what, loggerheads and what and what. But the issue is, we should really share our minds before we own the document. Because right as we have seen, there are some issues which we cannot actually allow them to go as they are to the Senate. The quality of, the issue of quality assurance is not yet addressed. So even if it goes and given the nod by the Senate itself, but we know for sure our document is insufficient, insufficiently backed. Because there's no way, as Professor Kalwani said, as Dr. Adam said there, Abdullah, about quality. There's no way we have assured quality with this document. So maybe for the next time, I think before anything goes beyond, we should be thoroughly be engaged as academicians. Definitely, if you have more than 200 or 300 academic staff gathered together, you shouldn't expect to have a yes, 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 yes. No, that is academically very unproductive. But if you get why, that is very productive academically. Because the whys, when answered, they add something to the document. But if you want to have a document which will just sail through out of, like today we are currently 97, and we agree on something which we see for sure, that is not yet well backed. A mistake. So next time when we want to pass something, we should seriously engage ourselves and use the brains which we have. Use the brains of 100 plus or 200 plus academic staff who are here from different orientations. They have definitely a very good contribution. But if a class of people will think on behalf of the rest, we will never actually attain what we want. If you have 3 or 4 people who will be guiding the DVC academic and give him the advice, and DVC academic believing that from the 4 ideas I received from Kalwani, Maritanga, and Samzugi, they are enough, then we are not helping the DVC academic.
Thank you, Prof. We want to help the DVC academic. We want to help the university. We want to help the country. So every one of us should be free to say what he thinks will assist our university to move forward. Dr. Kihusi?
Asante mwenyekiti.
Karibu.
I have like 2-3 issues. Issue ya kwanza, labda nikubaliane na Professor Varisanga ya kuhusu kushirikishwa academic staff. Kushirikishwa kwa academic staff kuna namna nyingi. Labda mimi nizungumzie specifically hii item kwa sababu hii item ilikuja kwenye UJSC na the first question, one of the question was whether the academic staff were involved in this process. The answer was clear, kwamba hii document, hii process ya kuassess kwenye MUDO ilishapita kwenye Senate muda mrefu. Kilichokuwa kimekuja kwa mara ya mwisho kwenda kwa Senate, it was just for noting the improvement ambazo zinatakiwa kufanyika sasa kwenye hii MUDO assessment system, ili wote sasa tuongee lugha moja. Lakini tukambana DES kwenye UJSC, tukaambia ni namna gani walimu walishirikishwa. Akasema yeye aliwashirikisha wakuu wote wa idara, na kwa hiyo ilikuwa wajibu wa wakuu wa idara kuwashirikisha watu wao kabla ile document ilikuwa haijakwenda Senate kwa ajili ya kunoti. Sasa swala linakuja whether hawa wakuu wa idara walishusha hii document kwa watu ili wapate hizo inputs na kuzirudisha kwa DES ili process zingine ziendelee. Kilichosemwa hapa kama tumesikia wote ni kwamba baadhi zilitumwa na ameshatoka na maazimio na baadhi bado. Kwa hiyo swala la kuimprove kama tunavyosema wote sio la mtu mmoja, sio la kitengo kimoja. ni la kwetu la kushirikiana sisi sote, na kama hivyo ndivyo basi wakuu wa idara, wakuu wa vitivyo na walimu wenyewe tuna wajibu wa moja kwa moja wa kuona kinapokuja kitu akijakaa sawa au tunataka kufanyia kazi, basi tuseme waziwazi, hii kitu umetuletea haijakaa vizuri, sisi tunataka kitu kianzie hapa, kiende hapa, kiende hapa, ili tuweze kutoka na kitu chetu. Hilo la kwanza. La pili, kuhusu kupungua kama tukitumia mudo sisi tunapunguza malipo ya tunapunguza mapato ya chuo. Hili labda niliweke tu vizuri. Ni kwamba kwanza sasa hivi ada ya mitihani imepanda kidogo, imekuwa 10,010 badala ya 5,500. Na hiyo 10,010 hiyo moja ni pamoja inahusiana na hizo coursework assessment. Sio kwamba unapofanya coursework assessment kwenye muda kwamba ulipe, hapana, ile gharama ipo na ukiingia kwenye invoice zinachajiwa hivyo hivyo, inachajiwa kama MTT lakini ni context ya muda. 10,010 ipo na ile 10,010 ya annual ipo. Kwa hiyo hii assessment mode haiathiri mapato ya chuo. The only thing ambayo inaonekana kama inaathiri ni kwamba hizi coursework wanafunzi wamekuwa wakifanya hawafanyi kwa wakati mmoja. Kwa hiyo na mwanafunzi anakuwa halipi kwa wakati mmoja, wanalipa tofauti tofauti. Kwa hiyo ile lump sum wakati mwingine inakosekana ukilinganisha na ile tradition mode ambayo ilikuwa kama unasajili siku 30 lazima ipo ndani ya 30 na kwa unaliona ile liboom. Sasa hivi kinachokosekana ni liboom la wakati mmoja, lakini mapato kimsingi hayajaathirika kwa sababu hatujabadilisha ni taratibu za kulipa ada, na in fact ada ya mitihani imeongezeka. Mimi ninachotaka kusema cha mwisho ni kwamba ni kweli kwa muda mrefu kumekuwa kuna madhaifu ya kuleta issues kwa walimu. Na niseme tu kweli kwamba mambo mengi kwa walimu yanaonekana kama yanakuwa imposed badala ya watu kuthrow idea na kusema jamani tunataka kuimprove kitu fulani. Tunaomba sisi kama academician tufanye tu research kadogo kwa sababu ya the higher learning institution. This is research based university. Unfortunately kwa muda mrefu tumekuwa tukifanya kazi bila kufanya hata research vidogo yani. Na kwa hiyo tunakuwa issues zinakuwa imposed. Sasa ile the issue ya kuonekana vitu vinakuwa imposed ndio hiyo sort of resistance ambayo tunaiona. Lakini sio kwa sababu ya pesa, sio kwa sababu ya nini. Ile ownership ya kitu kwa wananchi au kwa wanajamii ya wanataaluma inakosekana, na ndio maana tunapata hii shida. Kwa hiyo tuwaombe sisi viongozi kama walioko viongozi au sisi wanataaluma wenyewe, tunapokuwa tunaona mambo yaendi vizuri au mafundishaji wetu na matatizo, tusimame, tujitokeze, tuseme kwamba haya bwana mambo yaendi vizuri, sisi tunaomba tukae, tuje na vitu, tushirikiane na uongozi au management tuweze kufanikisha. Lakini tukiendelea kunyamaza na kutupiana semi lawama, yani tukienda kulaumu na tufanye kitu chochote, hatutakisaidia chuo kutoka hapo tulipo. It is high time now tuongee na kuact ili tuweze kukibadilisha hiki chuo, tufundishe na wanafunzi wetu waweze kupata ile elimu inayotakiwa, na sio bora elimu lakini elimu iliyo bora na yenye manufaa kwa nchi hii na wenyewe kwa maisha yao binafsi. Na naomba niseme hii tena kitu kimoja. Mwaka huu tumeenroll watu 6,000. Nimetoka kwa baadhi ya mikoa kwenye orientation. Mahali pengine panasikitisha. Ule tu utayari wa kuelezea watu, utayari wa kuwasaidia wale wanafunzi, hata organization, unaanza kuona kabisa hata ile hali ya kwa maintain hao tuliowapata ni ngumu. Kwa sababu kila mtu anajaribu kumwelezea mtu kila anachokielewa, lakini sio kama ule utaratibu ambao upo au ile namna ambao actually mwanafunzi anatakiwa kueleweshwa na kuona sahihi na anaweza kupata mahali sahihi. Kwa hiyo ndugu zangu, niseme tena, it is high time tuongee na kuact na tujaribu kuisaidia chuo chetu. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana Dr. Kihunsi. Asante sana Dr. Kihunsi kwamba tutoe elimu iliyo bora na kwamba tuzungumze lugha iliyo moja, tusiwe kama mnara wa Babeli ulivyoanguka, kila mtu anazungumza lugha yake. Kwa hiyo asante sana. Mwingine next. Njoroge, can we allow Dr. Is it Malia or Mhachi?
Njoroge ni Njoroge.
Okay.
Very briefly, niongee na mimi kwa lugha ya mama, unaweza mother language, Swahili.
Kila mtu leo atoe dukuduku lake. Tukitoka hapa tunatoka kama wamoja. Tusitoke hapa mwingine anakwenda kuzungumza pembeni. Kwa hiyo kama kuna lolote ambalo limekuwa likikusumbua, nadhani leo ni nafasi yenu mlizungumze ili tuweze kwenda pamoja. Ya pembeni huwa hayafai sana. Asante, karibu daktari.
Chia nakushukuru. Ninashukuru kwa mwongozo huo, japo sikubaliani sana kwamba ni sehemu ya kuongea lolote. Ni sehemu ya kuongea
lenye manufaa kwa chuo na kwetu pia.
Kuongea mlengo wa hii document ambayo tulikuwa nayo mezani. Nimpongeze tena Said. Huyu ni rafiki yangu, kwa akifanya kazi kubwa, lakini comment zinazotolewa kwenye academics, kwenye risk, comment inayotolewa sio yako, ni nyaraka iliyoletwa mezani. Kwa hiyo ni nyaraka iliyoletwa ndio tunaoijadili na kuona kuna lolote. Kwa hiyo rafiki yangu asihisi kwamba labda kuna lolote ambalo linagusa moja kwa moja. Anafanya juhudi kubwa sana kama director wa examination syndicate na kama individual. Ninamfahamu vizuri, nimesoma naye kabla boys yangu sana. Lakini hata hivyo lazima tukubaliane kwamba Tokuria kama ilivyo chuo vingine vina think tanks wengi sana. Au amekaa mkoani au amekaa Dar es Salaam. Kuna watu wanaoweza kufikiria, wakiona hawawi taken on board wanaweza wakanyamaza, hata kama ni kwa hasara yao. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba kwa faida pana ya taasisi na kwa faida pana ya taifa, kwenye system na maendeleo ya elimu katika taifa, lazima hawa watu watumike. Wana wajibu kama wananchi, lakini wana wajibu wa moja kwa moja walisomeshwa na taifa. Sasa kuna mambo ya kimsingi, mifumo yetu katika chuo ni vizuri ikatengenezwa katika hali ambayo inawashirikisha watu kutoa input, whether ni kwa lazima au kwa uhuru wao, willingly. Kwa sababu mfano mdogo ni wa document kama hii. Document kama hii pamoja na mambo mengine ambayo watu wanaonesha kwamba yamekuwa yakienda kwa kasi, yote yana nia njema. Hakuna mtu anatengeneza ya mambo kwa kuharibu taasisi. Lakini kama academician, hawa ni wataalamu. Mtu mmoja au wawili huna uwezo, hata utapasuka kichwa tu bure, huna uwezo wa kuendesha mambo yote. Kuna vitu vya kimsingi lazima uvilete kwa watu, wakwambie kwa jicho hili. Hebu wote tunasimamia, wanafunzi wote tunasoma hizi articles. Ukiwa umeandika bila kupitisha kwa mwingine, regardless anajua sana, anajua ile subject matter, lakini kuna kitu kwa hiyo tutengeneze namna ambayo lazima wanaleta ile vitu wanavyo ezipo watakuja kuviimplement wao. It's a very wrong way. Na hii sio tu hilo, kuna mifumo na mambo mengine ambayo yamekuwa kienda undergraduate amegusia juu ya orientation. Orientation inakuwa designed as if
jamani, watu wa mute hizo mic hatusikii.
Mhache tafadhali, mhache.
Mfano unaweza kaandaa hii orientation sana kwa undergraduate, lakini wasahau sisi tulio huko mikoani tunajua kwamba mwanafunzi wa postgraduate kuna baadhi ya mifumo. Kwa mfano mimi nimetrain very intensively juu ya SARS na Moodle. Hapa kuna mifumo ambayo mwanafunzi wa postgraduate anahitaji kuipata, ambayo isichanganywe na bata enda kuipata kipindi cha research methodology. Lazima tuhitaji kuwaita wale watu, lakini watu waliokuwa intended kwenye ile orientation inaonekana walikuwa ni watu wa undergraduates peke yake, kitu ambacho sijui context ya huku kama watu wanaifahamu sana. Lakini hata hivyo una design face to face ambayo itakuja ku accommodate postgraduate. Kuna zone hujazigusa, kwa hiyo bado wale watu walitakiwa ku integrate. Hoja yangu ni nini? Lazima hawa watu across the board kwenye regional center zote kuna think tanks wahusishwe. Sio kwa sababu mtu yuko Dar es Salaam anafikiri ana IQ kubwa, hapana. Watu wahusishwe. We are here kwa sababu sio tuko desperate. Watu wanahusishwe, wachangie kwenye maendeleo ya taasisi step by step. Akatae kwa kushindwa kuchangia, na haya mabadiliko ndio yatakuwa sustainable. Otherwise tutakuwa tunakimbizana, tukienda kidogo tukigonga mwamba tunabadilisha, tunarudi tena upande wa pili. Tutakuwa na mabadiliko mengi sana. It will be a higher learning institution kiasi ambacho haitaweza kuimplement mambo. Apili yangu tujari na tutambue uwezo wa watu kokote waliko. Asante mwenyekiti.
Asante. Ushirikishwaji unazidi kusisitizwa na kwamba wote tuna IQ kubwa regardless kama uko mkoani au uko Dar es Salaam. Sijamsikia.
Halo Dr. Samjugi.
Karibu Mpepo.
Asante sana, na mimi nilikuwa na mchango kidogo. Kimsingi tunatoa mchango ili kusaidia chuo chetu au taasisi yetu iweze kwenda mbele. Na hili kwa mfano najaribu kuangalia organization ya hata ya mafunzo elekezi, ratiba yalivyopangwa kwa namna ya kwamba kuna ile kitaifa na kuna yale ya kimkoa. Kulikuwa kuna changamoto kidogo. Kwa mfano ratiba iliyopangwa ile ya kufanya orientation kitaifa na mikoani ilileta kidogo utata, ambayo ilileta sintofahamu kwa baadhi ya mikoa. Mimi nilikuwa Dodoma. Lakini pia nataka nizungumzie kwenye issue ya mafunzo elekezi au orientation, kwa maana kwamba kwa mfano mkoa wa Dodoma ambako mimi nilikuwepo, tulikaa kwa mfano kuanzia asubuhi mpaka saa 9. Lakini imagine kwamba kama tunasema customer care, mwanafunzi anafika tangu asubuhi mpaka saa 9, hatuwezi kumpa hata maji ya kunywa. Mtu ambaye atajua kulipa ada milioni 2, milioni 3, tunashindwa kumpa hata maji ya kunywa. Sijui tunafikiriaje kitu kama hicho. Asante.
Sawa, ndugu wajumbe, naona haya yanakuwa ni mengineyo kwa sababu ajenda kubwa ilikuwa ni kujadili andiko ambalo limetoka DESI. Sawa? Kwa hiyo tunategemea kwamba michango yenu yote mtaielekeza kwenye andiko lililoletwa na DESI. Kwa hiyo Dax upo? Dax. Dr. Kiusi?
Nipo.
Dr. Kiusi, kutokana na hawa ambao wanajitokeza, tutakuomba na wewe siku moja hivi za karibuni na tuje na mjadala wa kuangalia mafanikio na changamoto ambazo tumezipata katika orientation hii ambayo imechanganya mambo ya orientation ambayo imekwenda kwa Zoom, kwa sababu tunaona kuna mingine ambayo anajitokeza hapa ambayo nadhani angekuwa handled vizuri kama kungekuwa na kikao kama hicho. Kwa hiyo ndugu wajumbe, naomba kama tumemaliza yote yanayohusu andiko la DESI, kama tumemaliza yote yanayohusu andiko la DESI, basi labda tuende kwenye the way forward na niruhusu kufunga mkutano baada ya hapo.
Dr. Samzugi.
Naam.
Dr. Yes, nina mchango kidogo kabla hujaenda kwenye hatua nyingine.
Karibu.
Ninafikiri lengo la wanataaluma wengi wanaozungumza, nafikiri kama tulivyosema, ni kuboresha. Sasa mimi nianze kwa kukiri kwamba chuo chetu kina mifumo mingi mizuri sana, na nimpongeze Dr. Saidi pamoja na wenzake wote ambao wamefanya kazi nzuri wakati wa corona. Sasa mimi nilichokuwa nataka kushauri, jambo la kwanza katika yale aliyokuwa anayasema, tukubali ya kwamba jambo lolote jipya linapoletwa huwa lina mapungufu. That's number one. Kama tutakataa kwamba tunachokileta kipya hakina mapungufu, tutajikuta katika hatari ya kuendelea na yale mapungufu. Kwa hiyo ule ubora tunaoutafuta hatutaupata. Kwa mfano, nataka kutoa mfano ambao ni halisi, na mimi kama academic staff kwenye center huku nimekutana nao na intervene kwa asilimia kubwa sana kuwafanya wanafunzi yani warudi kwenye zile WhatsApp groups zao, waache kupiga kelele. Kwa mfano, alipokuwa ametoa DES pamoja na ule utaratibu mzuri kabisa, kwamba tutaingia kwenye quiz, kutakuwa na online assessments na kutosha tu kabisa. Wakati ameshazielezea na sisi tumezipokea, tumeshawapa wanafunzi wakajiandaa kwamba tarehe fulani mpaka tarehe fulani kutakuwa na hizo assessment. Sasa lile ambalo alikutarajiwa likatokea. Ni lipi hilo? Ikatokea kwamba walioingia walikuwa ni wengi sana kuliko uwezo wa system yetu kuweza kuwa manage. Ile system ikajikuta haiwezi kuwabeba. Baada ya kujikuta kwamba haiwezi kuwabeba, tayari iko imeshatokea changamoto ambayo hakuna aliyeitarajia. Sisi hatukuitarajia, wala wanafunzi hawakuitarajia. Sasa wanafunzi nyakati kama hizo wanaanza kuhoji na kuuliza na kufanya hivi na vile. Kwa hiyo mimi naomba tunapokuwa tumeleta jambo jipya, tuwe tayari tu kupokea yale mapungufu au changamoto zinazotokea na kuzifanyia badiliko. Sasa namshukuru DES kwa sababu alitutumia document, akatupa maelezo. Kwa hiyo ukajitahidi kadri tulivyoweza kuwaonyesha wanafunzi kwamba changamoto tu ya kiteknolojia imetokea, lakini kutatokea badiliko. Sasa mimi nilikuwa naomba, kwa mfano sasa hivi tunataka vitu vingi, kati ya zile assessment nyingi zitafanyika online. Tuhakikishe changamoto kama hii tumeshaitafutia najua sasa hivi kuna ufumbuzi, lakini tuendelee kufanya monitoring kwamba changamoto kama hii haitokei, na ikitokea inatatuliwa. Naenda kwenye jambo la pili. Jambo la pili liko hivi: wanafunzi wengi walikuwa wanaona kama huu mfumo wa online kama vile unawanyang'anya haki yao ile ya kuja kufanya mitihani ya kuandika. Sasa mimi nataka niseme hivi, ukitaka kumbadilisha mwanafunzi au mtu yeyote ambaye ana fikra kama hiyo, using'ang'ane naye, chukua wachache wanaoweza kufanya, alafu wale wachache waje walete ushuhuda mwema. Sasa naenda kwenye kipengele cha 3. Kwa sababu ya watu wengi walikuwa naamini kwamba kuandika ni kitu kizuri zaidi kuliko cha kuongea, waligawanyika. Waliokuwa wanaona kuandika ni sawa, wanaosema kuongea ni sawa. Sasa leo tuna makundi mawili. Niseme kama labda DES hajapata hiyo taarifa, anaweza akaipata vizuri kutoka kwetu mikoani. Wanafunzi wamegawanyika katika makundi mawili au 3. Kundi la kwanza linasema OREX pamoja na online coursework assessment ilikuwa safi kabisa. Hilo ni kundi ambalo lilijaribu, likaacha hofu, likaacha woga, likafaulu. Kundi la pili ni kundi ambalo ina maana linaonekana, inawezekana halikufanya. Yaani mtu kama hakufanya, anaweza akasema hii system kwa kweli mimi naona hapana haifai, anaiongelea namna hiyo. Lakini kundi la lingine ambalo liko kwenye kundi la pili ni kundi la wale waliofanya online coursework alafu hakufaulu, pamoja na kwenye OREX. Wale tumekutana nao sisi wanazungumza. Kwa hiyo lazima aende ule upande mwingine, anasema hapana, hii system kwa kweli mimi naona haiko sawa na nini, mpaka anaomba kabisa remedial classes. Sasa watu wa aina hii tukisha waona, sisi tuendeleze kile ambacho tumekiona. Ikiwezekana, kama kwa mfano inawezekana, tuwatengenezee remedial classes, watafanya tu. Akifaulu sawa, akiferi ni juu yake. Lakini sisi tusitiki kwenye kile kitu cha msingi ambacho tunataka kifanyike. Sasa jambo lingine, naomba niongelee swala la idadi ya wanafunzi waliofanya mtihani. Tunapoweka hizi assessment, lazima pia tuangalie wanao turn up